Now for a quick Devar Torah, and think about Yom Yerushalayim, but we're going to think about something else. Somebody very much tied to Jerusalem, although in her day it really wasn't a Jewish city, was Ruth. Ruth. Anyway, in a little over a week, we'll be reading the book of Ruth. What's interesting is in Jewish history, two of the most important people in Jewish history did not start off being Jewish. The father-in-law of Moses, who, as we know, came to Moses and said, "I see what you're doing. There's a better way of doing it." Moses takes his advice about setting up judges under him, etc. So a whole legal system. So Moses didn't have to judge every case brought before him. This was Jethro's idea. And then we have the story of Ruth. She was a Moabitess, and she enters the Jewish people through her marriage to Naomi's son. And we know the story that Naomi and her family left the land of Israel, went to Moab. We'll get more into that next week as to the problems with that. But Ruth says that she's going to accompany Naomi back to the land of Israel. Shows her tremendous kindness. And when Naomi says, "Why are you doing this?" she said, Ruth makes the announcement of conversion. Where you go, I go. Your people will be my people. Your law is my law. In other words, she converts to being Jewish. And then, as we know, there's a whole controversy. What's interesting is that we read this on Shavuot. We'll read this in a little over a week. It's when the whole Jewish people accepted the Torah. And the idea is that a convert has to make an affirmative declaration that they're accepting the Torah. Whereas us who were born Jewish didn't have to make that acceptance. We don't have to say that. We're Jewish by birth, that's the way it is, and we accept it. But like I said, she had tremendous influence, even though at the time she didn't realize it. And she had to face tremendous obstacles to be in the Jewish people. As we know, there's a law that a Moabite cannot enter into the nation of Israel, but a Moabitess can. And then later on, when David is going to become king, there's a question about his heritage because, remember, he's from Ruth. So, it's a very interesting thing that, like I said, two of our most important people in our history who had tremendous influence on us to this day did not start off as Jewish. They were outside. We would not have counted them as we're going through this week's Parsha. We're talking about counting, and everybody who is there is counted. Neither Jethro nor Ruth were there. They were not counted, but they did count. And that's the important thing we have to remember. Even though you would not think to count these people, they still have importance. Something to think about.